I want to introduce myself, and I'm gonna have Jessica introduce herself. And today we are doing live Q&A on real estate and loans. And that's just not talking about buying and selling, that's talking about refinancing, maybe taking some cash out to help yourself out. We're talking about things that maybe renters may have questions about, homeowners may have questions about, and we're really here to help you with those things. So my name is Jenny Gonzalez. I'm with Keller Williams Corona, and my license number is 01249788, and my cell phone number is 951-316-0374.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Jessica Taguchi. I am with Easy Fundings, and I am a loan officer. I have been doing loans for a little over 22 years, and my license number is 298247, and I would love to help you. My number, in case you need to text me or call me, it's 951-454-0222. Jenny.
Thank you so much. Now, today we want to focus on what people are actually asking a lot of questions about. And I want to first kind of go over a little bit of a slideshow. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me maximize this out. Oops, sorry. I just have a hard time maximizing this out. There we go. Okay, so we're kind of go over the basics first of the home buying process. And I have Jessica here to help me because we have so many questions about the home buying process from people. There are misconceptions regarding the home buying process. And a lot of times, excuse me here, I needed to do something real quick. There's a lot of questions regarding the home buying process, and we don't always know what to do. So people really think that they need to, let's say, go looking at properties and possibly finding a property first, and then they decide that they want to go out and see how they're pre-approved. So I want to talk about why it is that we cannot be doing this. Correct, Jessica?
That's correct.
Okay.
There's a few different reasons, but here we go. We're going to start the slideshow.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So first you want to do is you want to select a real estate agent. Not just a real estate agent, but someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Why? Because there's a lot of agents out there that don't know neighborhoods. They don't know about tax rates and special assessments and what those do to the properties. They don't know what add-ons or conditions of the property will affect the actual cost of the home. So they're, saying that they can get a great deal on this, but it may not be a great deal. And then the most important thing you need to do second is obtain a pre-approval. And I cannot stress how important that actually is. Jessica, you want to delve into that just a little bit?
Yeah. Basically, a pre-approval is letting the seller and the seller's agent know that a loan officer like myself have gone into and pulled their credit. So the potential buyer's credit, they pulled it. They meet the minimum, at least the minimum requirement of for the loan program that they're choosing to do. We also have looked at funds. In other words, if they have enough money to close the deal. So at the end of when we're ready to close escrow, there is enough money to go ahead and close, do the final wire so we can close. We also look at different programs. Ratios are very important. And what I mean by ratios is the payment, pretty much the payment versus what they make a month. So if you do not, you can love a $500,000 property, but if you only qualify for $400,000, we will let you know at that moment. So you don't waste your time and get maybe heartbroken. That's the worst thing as a loan officer. I'm sure as a realtor, once you get your heart all set on a home and you fall in love with it, and then you can't find anything like that anymore because you're heartbroken. And so all that, to avoid all that and problems and to have a smooth closing, we want to do all that ahead of time.
I completely agree. And a lot of times, what I'm advising for people is, with the lack of inventory that we have out there right now, we're seeing, like, for instance, last week, 100 more homes went pending than the week before. So as we finally get the sellers coming into the market, which will be in the next few months, and I'm seeing that activity go, buyers need to get pre-approved so that when that house comes on the market, they can get that and they have that right then and there. Because if you wait, a couple days, let's just say the lender needs some extra documentation from you and that stalls a couple extra days, you may lose on that house that you had been looking at. Correct, Jessica?
Yes, that's correct. Also, Jenny, is it correct that with the pandemic and COVID-19, it's really literally impossible to even show property because of the new regulations that you guys have, to enter a home?
That is a great thing to bring up. We actually have really good protocols, but they're very strict. So what we're doing is we're doing a lot of virtual open houses, and then we're doing appointment only showings. So what you do is you have to fill out a piece of paper that lets the seller know that you're going to be coming and says that you have no symptoms. And then the listing agent, I just did this the other day, we go and we come to the property and make sure that we bring gloves and masks and sanitizer and so forth. And then we have to make sure that everything is sanitized after we leave. And we have to make sure that only us and 2 other people can go in and view at the time. It was actually a seamless process when I did it last week, but it really depends on how people feel about getting out there right now.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
So the next thing I want to go over is the buyer consultation to analyze the needs. Now this goes hand in hand with the lender, because if Jessica tells me that a client is pre-approved for X amount and that's it, that is the max, but the buyer feels like they can make a higher payment, right, Jessica? We've had
All
some
the
of
time.
these.
All the time.
Okay. I've been in the field to where I've had, certain properties that we go ahead and go look at, and the husband say, well, I want to go look at this house. And I've had to tell them, no, we've gone over this. The lender will only go this far because of your debt ratio and because this is what you're qualified for. If you purchase this house, they won't let you buy it. Correct?
That's correct. Also, keep in mind, we can say, I'm just going to throw a number, 460, but it depends what neighborhood, because some neighborhoods, especially the new construction neighborhoods with new builders or newer, they carry special assessments. They have a higher tax per month, property tax. So that also makes you not qualify for 460 versus maybe that, because you go into that type of home, now you only qualify for 450. So in other words, it's very tricky, and you have to keep in communication with people, with lenders like us, and that's why there's an open communication between a realtor and a loan officer, because this is very important. Everything has to do with the debt to ratio, which what Jenny just said. The payment is what the lenders is going to give you. Is really not so much the loan amount. If you think that in your head, it's really the payment. The payment that you pay is what they're going to allow you to pay, because it's a mathematical equation, if you want to say it. It's pretty much an equation. So if you qualify for this much payment, that's it. Unless you put more money down, so then we have a different scenario here.
And a couple other things we might want to mention are HOAs.
Yes.
And lease payments on solar.
Yes, that's big.
So I'm actually seeing a lot of sellers actually paying off their solar so that they don't have an issue with the solar payment. So
the solar, I'm sorry to cut you, but some solars are some are bought by the buyer, by the sellers, and some are leased. Well, you can buy a leased. So when a person is buying a property that has a leased solar, we have to transfer that payment to the new buyer. So that might throw off the ratios. Just $80, $20, $30 sometimes makes it impossible for
Which
you
is
to
why
get
it's important that your agent is paying attention to what everything is stated on the property. Right?
taxes are big. The taxes are big. The Millerus, HOA, those are big. Those are dealer killers. I mean, it will kill the deal.
I do want to mention that we do have, we're both on the committees at the Board of Realtors, and we do have a grant for $2,500 towards mortgage, the PMI.
That's correct.
You want to discuss that real quick?
Sure. We have we both belong to a housing affordability and diversity committee at the Board of Real Estate here in Corona, and we have a grant that we have occurred from CAR, which is California Association of Realtors, up to $2,500 to go towards split mortgage insurance. In other words, we're going to help you pay up to $2,500 to lower your mortgage premium, your PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. Is mortgage insurance. Anytime you don't put 20% down, you will have to carry mortgage insurance, with the exception of the VA loan. So the VA loan is different. There's no mortgage insurance. That's a different topic. But and pretty much almost every loan product out there, if you don't put 20% down, then conventional FHA, you'll have to carry that mortgage insurance.
I think it's
a
an
little
awesome
more
program.
deep. It's very deep, but yeah, this split MI lowers your monthly payment.
And that's the key right there, is lowering the monthly payment. So let's just say they found something that has an HOA, and that may offset the cost of the payment by using the grant.
Yeah,
so it's very important to have your lender, have Jessica as your lender, have her fill out the form, and have her get that property approved. You have to have a property assigned, correct?
That's correct. You have to already be in contract, and we have to pass it through at the committee. It's a very easy step. It's not a big deal to get approved. Split MI, I just want to explain to you Split MI. Split MI goes only to a conventional loan, and it's the mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance for this type of property needs to be, we split it. So we pay half of it up front. We give you that grant, the 25, and then whatever's left over, we take care of it in monthly payment that you would be in charge of. But sometimes it could relieve you about $100 a month.
$100 a month is a big deal, because that's, let's say, 0.5% also. Let's just say you need, with regards to your rate, that's about what, 0.5% on your rate is $100 too. So there's all kinds of ways we can look at it, right?
There's a lot. There's many things that before we say no, you can't qualify for this house, we really have many different avenues we can take. It's just not a calculator that you find on some of these popular, I don't even want to mention it, but some popular sites. They're liars. I'm just going to say it. They're misleading, and it's not right. So it doesn't cost you anything to sit down with a loan officer like myself, pick me, and we can guide you and talk to you and educate you, because if you are educated, then you feel comfortable making a decision and you make the right decision.
So, we both have been in the business over 20 years separately. Okay. We're best friends.
Yes.
We call each other sisters.
Yes.
I want to let everybody know Jessica knows her stuff. She goes out and above and beyond for her clients and for my clients. And anybody that says anything different, I beg to differ. And that's why I had her on this show, because, I know her so well, and we really know each other so well. And we can give this presentation and let everybody know what's going on without any kind of pressure or anything else. And, we just want to be informative.
That's correct. Information is never, you can never have so much information. Just have the correct information. Yeah, I've been doing it, like Jenny said, I've been doing it 22 years. I think Jenny's been 22 plus, right? Almost 23.
21, almost
21.
22.
Yeah. So we've been in separate. It's not like complete. She's had her own 20. I have my own 20. So we're kind of old here, but we have been in the business. We haven't stopped. It's I love what I do. And I know Jenny has a passion for it herself. So if you have any questions, please you can go ahead and email us, text us, contact us via here anytime.
anytime and in the chat. And even after this is done, we're going to be checking any questions, so we can do that as well.
Yes.
So I'll go back to sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing we do is we select properties to look at off of the off of what we were doing previously. So what I like to do is I like to have buyers actually put in writing to me what their criteria is. And then what I like to do is I like to actually send them those properties and say, okay, this is what's in your price range. What do you think? Sometimes it's an automatic, I want to look at this one, this one, this one. And sometimes it's like, wow, maybe I need to go out of the area. And I've had a lot of clients over the years step out of their box of thinking of, I need to be in this city, and maybe go 5 minutes away to the next city for a more affordable house or something that they're looking for. Because there is a perfect house for you, but it may not be in the same city that you're thinking about.
Correct.
Yes. And then we view the properties. And personally, when I go and view the properties, I take notes myself. So I always tell buyers to take notes themselves, what the pros and cons of each home. On each, you want to have a piece of paper, an MLS listing, whatever it is that I give you, and I want you to write your pros and cons on that, okay? Then once you decide which property or properties you're interested in, you write an offer, okay? And you can write an offer on more than one property, okay? I would not suggest it unless I have not been able to, let's just say, sometimes I can't get a hold of an agent and say, hey, do you have any offers? And I see how busy it is. And my client really wants that house and they put a really good offer in, but they're like, you know what, we should probably put an offer in over here too, just in case we just can't compete. And sometimes that just happens. And when we write an offer, I think this is so important, okay? Before I write an offer, I will call an agent, okay? I will call an agent. I will talk to that agent. I will let them know about my clients. I will let them know about my offer. And then when we're at the property, if I really do hope that the sellers are there at the property when we go to look at the property, because I like to have that communication with the seller and let them know about the client as well. I had my last transaction. We walked up, knocked on the door, and the seller knew the buyer, the wife. And it was just like an instant connection. And she says, as long as I get this much, write whatever you want. I mean, there's those kinds of people. But then you have other times where you have agents. I've written a full price offer on a property, and they said, I know it doesn't comp to that, and I know that we're priced high, but you need to bring your offer up more. So at that point, you have to talk to the buyer and say, is this worth it or not? And if it's not worth it, I will tell my client it's not worth it. But in reversing those terms, I've had agents tell me, you know what, you're the best negotiator ever, because I can negotiate just about anything. And then once we got the contract accepted, then we party, right? Right, Jessica?
Oh. You can party, but I'll be pulling my hair.
And why do you pull your hair? Because then it goes on you, right?
Yes, because I've been sitting here waiting for you to give me that offer. Accept it. That's correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at this point, Jessica, once they have the offer accepted, then I send over the contract over to you.
That's correct.
And I send you all the information, and we get escrow information over and everything else.
That's correct.
And then we do, after the acceptance of the contract is where we're going to go next. So we put a deposit into escrow. Unless it's a VA, normally it's about 1% of the sales price. Okay?
That's right.
And you have 3 business days to get that in. And now all they're accepting is wire transfers. And each escrow is doing that differently. Okay? Because they're doing things so that there's less fraud, because there's a lot of fraud out there with wires right now. Correct, Jessica? Do you have any experience with that?
I happy to say that I don't have any bad experience with that, but I do know of a few people that, as particularly this one couple, they they wire in $30,000 for down payment, and they got an email that looked just like the email from the escrow company they were in, but by one number or one letter is different, but to the eye is too, you just don't catch it if you don't know the email address, and they don't, you don't expect your buyers to know the email address by heart. So they went ahead and they said it was the wire information, and they went ahead to their bank, tendered in, gone. The money was gone. To this day, I think that was 8 months ago. I don't think they've seen the money back yet, because it went to, from that bank that they wired, it went to overseas somewhere, and that was it.
So it's very
It's a
important
fraud.
to
It's
connect with
fraud.
the escrow officer or someone at the escrow office. And you actually, a lot of times they will have you go down to the bank and wait till you're at the bank teller, and they give the banking information there.
That's correct. That's correct. It's
So
very
that kind of
important.
helps
But
with the
this
process.
only is cryptic too. They're sending now stuff with passwords. Emails are with passwords. Escrow companies are being very, very careful. I'm happy to say that all the escrow companies that I've worked with the last year, they've been so good and so careful, and they're watching out for all our buyers. So I don't think, I think it was a problem maybe a year ago, but I don't want to scare anybody right now. I have not seen anything. I haven't heard anything, and I'm very active right now. So I think we have that under control, but yet we have to talk to you about that, because you
Yeah,
never
don't
know.
let someone tell you you need to write a check.
Yeah, you do not. And you don't need to pay anybody to show properties. There's a lot of, I'm sorry to jump that into that, but I don't know why I'm saying this, but I do know of a few agents that are charging buyers to show property. And that's not, that's, you don't give anybody money. You don't give me any money. You don't give Jenny any money, any
No,
realtors or any loan officers, any money. You do not pay me, and you do not pay Jenny or
no,
anybody
we get
else.
paid from the sellers at
Mhm.
close of escrow from escrow, and that is it.
Mm-hmm.
We can show 100 properties and then never get into escrow, and we're not paid for that. All we can do is write off the mileage. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
the same thing with the loan officer. You know, if you're working with a loan officer and you've gone through this whole process, and let's just say that you're, you know, having a concern on the rate or something else, you know, let that loan officer researching and find another way to get things done, because, you know, things have changed in loans in the last, you know, 3 to 4 months. And they are all doing the best that they can to get all these things done. So,
It's very
um,
hard. It's becoming a reading session for us most of the day, because we're getting so many different emails and educating ourselves, and there's so many webinars and so much happening that it is a little bit overwhelming, and it's a little hard to keep up, but it's all to protect you, the buyer, which is the number one thing for myself, and I'm sure Jenny feels the same way. We want to make sure you guys are protected and done right, so we keep up with our studies, we keep up learning. We don't, it's learning to us education. I belong to the education committee. I'm co-chair this year at the association, and I'm very, very up to date on everything that's out there. And I think that's part of our job. It's not Jenny just go show property, or what are the rates. That, to me, that's not all my job. My job is to keep educating and keep, and educating you guys, but also keep up with the education, because things change drastically, not just once a year, not just once a month, it's daily, many
it's
times.
daily right now. It is
So
daily right
we
now.
have to keep up with everything. Business as usual. We just going to continue. We just have to change a few things, but things are happening. I'm busy. Jenny's busy. We're busy. So we are in the business to stay, and we are ethical. You know, we're still being ethical, and we're doing just what's best for everybody right now.
Well said, Jessica.
Okay, I'm done then now.
All right. So what's next? So I think I got this. I want to talk about the inspection period, because it's very important to still have home inspections on the property. And right after we get into escrow and the deposits in there, usually I try and schedule that right away. I know a lot of people think that appraisal comes first, But I think the inspection is very important because you want to know, you know, what's going on with the property even before the appraiser goes out. And I want to talk to some sellers about this too, because a lot of times sellers do not, let's say, strap their water heaters correctly, put their smoke detectors up, things like that before appraisers come out. And then the appraisers have to come back out and charge the buyer $100 to $150 to come and re-inspect prior to close of escrow.
Correct.
So if you have your inspection done before the appraiser goes out, not only do you see, but the inspector and the buyer see the things that need to be done, and so does the seller, so that they can get that stuff done before the appraiser goes out. Right, Jessica?
That's correct. It's very important. It's very important to spend, I don't know what it is, 300 approximately, right? Average $300 to an inspector. That
Yeah,
inspector
it's
would
about
totally,
$300.
yeah. I mean, you have a pool, it's a little bit more, a bigger house, a bigger lot, but just average at about $300. And this person is an independent person, doesn't know me, doesn't really knows Jenny maybe because we've been in the business, but you pick it. That is your choice, whoever you want to use. We can recommend, but you can pick from how many, you know, there's many, but they look at everything. They turn on the stove, they open the windows, they go, if you have a crawl space, they go under there, up there, the attic, oven, all the pipes that they can see, just the roof that they can see. I mean, there's so many things that they check. To me, if you're buying a house, an average of $300,000-$400,000, and you're spending $300 is the best $300 that you could spend, and you should. We would recommend. I would never, ever. We would never. A good realtor would never recommend not to skip this process. I don't know if a good, you know, a good realtor that would say, "Oh, you can skip that. It's not. The house looks good." I wouldn't trust that.
You have no clue until you have somebody who knows what they're doing going through the property, because you know you can look for leaks, you can look for things that look a little weird and ask questions about them, but they get down and dirty and they get right down to it.
Yeah.
And you know, but you have to take some of the stuff as a do-it-yourself projects,
Exactly.
but the health and safety issues have to be tackled.
Yeah,
And
you're not buying a brand new house, right, Jenny? You're buying somebody to live there. So it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect, but you at least know the big things. And then, I mean, there's so many little things, like you said, it's a project. It's a little project you can take yourself. But the big things, it will be an issue. So I think, Jenny, I'm sure you would never ever recommend not doing it.
no, the only people that I have that don't do the inspections are my investors that are flipping. And every now and then they will still get one, but most of the time they're trying to close in 10 days and they don't care as long as they get, you know, their other kind of inspections and not quite those inspections. And I do suggest also with sellers that they get their termite inspections done at the time of listing. And if they want to do their own home inspection, get that done too, and have those two things available for the buyers. So you know that your house has already been done and it's ready to go.
That's a
And
great
that saves the
idea.
buyer a lot of time and money, and that's a total motivator on a seller's part. And a buyer, it would be greatly appreciated on that one.
I think if I was a seller, I would like to know what's going to come up in my house, because most sellers, they don't know these little things. They've been in the house so long that it's not, they don't even know it's happening. You know, a light switch not working or something. They don't know. So if you go ahead and get that done ahead of time, you fix it, and then your house is ready to go. You don't have to worry about
Yeah,
it.
I had one agent from our office that actually had a termite inspection done, and it came out to like, got $9,000,
Whoa.
and that was a condo townhome. And because the patio and everything had to be all torn down, so she had to take it off the market. And this is after I wrote an offer on her property, and I had asked her if she had had the termite inspection done, and she's like, no. And then we had to kind of cancel the whole transaction, and she got it done because then it took almost 30 days for the rest of the stuff to get done.
Wow.
So it's very important, I think, that everybody has the termite inspection done and the home inspections done.
Hey, Jenny, do you recommend an inspection on a brand new home, a new build?
Yes, I do.
Mhm.
Um,
I do
I,
too.
I, I bought a brand new home in 2006, and I had the builder out there. I did not have a home inspection done because, you know, they walked us through, we tested stuff, and I thought, I don't need it done. That I had them out there for the first 3 months. I had them out there every week to fix something. And for the first 2 years, they were out there about every other month because there was always something going on in the property. So you definitely need one on a new home build as well. I've talked to home inspectors, and they said that a lot of times there'll be more items on a new home than on an established home.
I heard that
Because
too.
established home, most of the time they are maintaining the property, where with the new builds, they're just trying to get it done as fast as possible.
Hmm.
It's all about the dollar for the new builds.
Yes, yes. New builds are, I recommend 100% get your home inspection done. And I mean, there's a lot of things with new builds that I'm scared of anyway. I'm scared to even do a loan. It's there's a lot of things. So it's, to me, I would never buy a brand new home. I'm never going to buy a brand new home.
If I were to buy a brand new home, I would go in there, you know, let's just say I have a buyer that decides to have a brand new home, and say, okay, if that's your choice, you've done all your research, let me go with you to look at the homes. We sign in together, and now I want this to be heard. We can negotiate for you. When I bought my new home, I got over $16,000 in plantation shutters. They enclosed the bathtubs for us. You know, all the things that weren't done that we wanted done, we said, we'll buy it if. And then we got negotiation on closing costs. There's all kinds of stuff that we can negotiate where, you know, my husband kind of went in there just kind of going, okay, I'll take that. And I'm like, no, 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 wait. I want this, I want that, I want this. And they just kind of looked, okay, we can negotiate on that. Yes, they will negotiate. They may not negotiate on price because they have a set price, but they will negotiate on closing costs and items at the house. So it's very important for us to be involved, and then we can do the home inspection and all that other stuff that needs to be done.
That's great.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next slide, or finish that slide that we're at. So you will get escrow instructions and a prelim report, which is a title report saying, you know, the information on title on the property, such as the liens on the property, if there's any judgments, easements, things like that. Escrow instructions are pretty much an extension of the purchase agreement. If you look at our purchase agreement, it says it's also escrow instructions. So until escrow instructions are actually given out by escrow, our contract is escrow instructions, okay? And escrow starts day one after it is the accepted contract is signed by the agent that had the final say, such as the seller's agent or buyer's agent, depending on the whoever's doing the counters, okay? Now, requests for repairs, we kind of talked about this a little bit. It really depends on the house, because a lot of homes, people say, okay, it's as is. And in the contract on the purchase agreement, it actually does state that the home is being purchased in as is condition when you write the offer, except for health and safety issues, okay? So when we go and we look at the report, first we address the health and safety issues. Then we go to the wants. And a lot of times I'll tell them, if you want, tell me what you want to ask for. And if I feel like it's an okay thing, we ask for it. But unless a house is like falling down, I do not support when people say, I want to ask for everything. Because I can guarantee you that seller has a backup buyer that is not going to ask for everything. At this day and age, I can guarantee it. Right, Jessica?
Yeah, there's multiple offers on
Multiple
each home.
offers, and they've got backups, okay? The appraisal is going to be done. That is a third party as well. And the cost, and again, we're going to talk about, we want to do our inspection first, which is a little bit cheaper. Because appraisals have really gone up in price, right, Jessica?
Appraisals are above 500, in around $500 area, and they pretty much are a extension of the lender. So the request for the repair and the inspection, property inspection, are handled with the realtor. The appraisal is part of the lender, and actually the lender is going in. It's the second eye of the actual, because the actual lender is not going in there. So an appraiser is a third party that goes in. Mainly, the main job of an appraiser is to make sure the property, the value or what you're paying for the property is fair. It's so the lender won't allow a dollar more. You know, you're not going to let you pay $1 more for the property unless you bring it in, you know, outside. But other than that, it's an eye, also somebody walking in through the property to make sure everything's right. They will call out a couple safety stuff. They will call out the water heater needs to be double strapped, which Eddie mentioned earlier. We need to do the carbon dioxide, and we also need the fire, what are they called? The alarms, what are they called?
Smoke
again? The
detectors?
smoke
Yes.
detectors. There we go, the smoke detector. So those things are the three things that, as a lender, they'll look for to be done right, because it's safety. And they just look at everything. You know, they'll call out certain things for different types of loans. They also have to call out different things, but you know, we can go into detail later on that stuff. But
And also, the only loans that require an actual termite clearance is VA, correct?
VA.
All the rest, what happens, I was curious to ask this question. It's my question here.
Sure.
Let's just say that we want a termite report on the purchase agreement, not a termite clearance. What happens if stuff is called out on the termite report that looks major to the lender?
You're gonna have to get it fixed. You're gonna have to get it fixed. Anything that the lender, remember, the lender's there to protect you, but also to protect themselves. So they're not gonna want you buying a house that's infested with termite or has a problem with the termites. So if you ask for a report as a buyer and as a realtor on there, and it comes back that it's a infested or there's a problem, make sure you know that it has to be addressed and fixed, and now it has to be disclosed. Now we need a clearance. We're going to need a clearance. In other words, we're going to need the seller to go ahead and get somebody to take care of that. But hey, that's to protect you. You don't want a house full of termites. So at that point, it's something good.
So what I've experienced is when I see a house that I can see the dry rot, I can see that it's kind of sun beaten, I will ask for a clearance on that property. Now, if I see a house that I'll even ask the buyers, I'm like, this looks super clean. We go around the whole house and they're like, you know, if there's anything, I can handle it. But I want a report. So what I normally will do is I'll tell them, you know what, when you have the home inspector come out, pay to have the termite done for yourself as well. Don't put it on the contract for the seller to pay for a report. We'll pay for your own report, and then you'll know what's going on. And if something comes up in that inspection period, then maybe we can negotiate with the seller, and it really depends. But I haven't had any major issues with that.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, termite rot is it's not good. It doesn't. It keeps going. Like, it's a problem that just keeps going. It adds up to your. And if you're a first-time buyer, even a seller that's bought many homes, you don't want to deal with that. It's too much.
And that's why I think it's important that as agents, we try and push our sellers to right off the bat get those inspections, the termite inspection done at least, because that is like the biggest thing, because there's termites in every single state, everywhere, and they just fly.
Do they fly?
They fly.
I didn't know. I thought they crawled.
They fly.
They fly. Okay, I didn't know. Well,
Okay,
I learned something from you. There you go. See, we learn from each other all the time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about termite clearances. Now let's talk about underwriting with the lender, because that's kind of where we're at now in this stage.
Okay, underwriting. Pretty much underwriter, which is the one that is going to say yay or nay on your loan. After a loan officer like myself put it together, and we think this is how it's going to look pretty and this is going to fly. So we pretty much say, oh, this is going to look nice. They're going to approve it. But guess what? They always find something that the cleanest loan, we think, oh, this is the easiest one. Well, it's not. So it's going to come down to the underwriter finding. And yeah, they might have one of these, and maybe a beehive. I'm not sure. No, I know many underwriters. I love them all, and they don't look like that, but they are so particular. I mean, they have a checklist. I don't know how they do it. I think they must have a big old checklist, and they go through every line item on your bank statements. They will check for any crazy deposits from $1 to thousands of dollars, and they're going to ask you where they came from. And if you don't have a paperwork to support that, if you don't have anything to support it, you better be ready to write an explanation and get backup paper to back that money up. And they look at for 2 months. They look at for 2 months total. Every little deposit gets counted. They also look to make sure your job. They want to make, nowadays with Convi, it's added a big extra step. I think there's about 5 to 6 different times during the underwriting that they're calling to verify your employment. They won't send the final wiring until they call and somebody from your company verifies that you're still employed. They also do it a week or two after we close. So after it closes, if you—
That's a new one.
Yeah, no, it's been going since March. Week to 2 weeks after, what happens is they're gonna call, and if you like were furloughed that week or something happened, the loan will be called back. Yes.
Wow.
So
you got to be honest with your lender.
yeah,
Communicate with the lender.
and one of the questions on the form that your whoever's verifying your employment, your manager, your HR, your person, it says if they have any reason to believe that you will be not working, like that something could happen, and they have to be truthful. If that happens, see, because as lenders, we sell the loan to a servicing company. So most of the time, you will have within the first or 2 months, your loan will sell to somebody that is going to service the loan. So in other words, it's going to be accepting your payment. Okay, it's not going to be who we are. It's going to be somebody that's going to take care of your payment, and they will do it again. And if they find out that you're not working, they will send it back to a place like myself, and a $500,000, and a couple of those will kill somebody. Just a bank will go in trouble. So they're very, very particular about that, and they're very, very serious about that. So they will not send the file warning. It will hold funding of the loan until we get a hold of somebody for the 5th or 6th time already. So your poor HR people are getting many, many calls from us.
I'm sure they're working from home and they're
Yeah.
very, very busy with the HR departments.
Yeah, they are. They are.
We were talking about earlier, we're talking a little bit, it's both with refinances and with purchases.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's just say someone has been off work since March and they're going to be going back to work in July or August, whatever it may be. Yeah. And they have a date and they know it and they want to prepare and they contact you. Now, when is it that they can qualify to do a refinance or for a purchase?
If you have a letter saying that is July 1st, you're going to start, we can go ahead and start getting the refinance or purchasing the home, because you will actually have a date, but you better have, when we close, we are going to need a pay stub, that you're back to work.
Yeah, with a 30-day escrow, you should have at least one pay stub by that time.
Correct.
Okay. I think that's phenomenal, because I think a lot of people are scared.
Jenny. Yeah, that's new. That's very new. Last week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's just last week it happened.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people were concerned about that, because they're like, well, I'm going to be going back to work and I don't want to, my plans to kind of be deflated by mm-hmm. this. Yeah. And how can I deal with it? So I think that's fantastic that we can educate people about that.
Yeah, that just came out. So that's like hot news right now. So that's just
fantastic.
Brand new.
Okay, let's go next. We got some cool stuff next. Okay, so after everything's agreed upon, we remove contingencies, you get full approval. We're gonna cut things a little short because I know Jessica has a party today. Yes. After you remove all your contingencies, let's just say the loan's done, everything else, there's no point of return on the deposit at that point. During COVID, we do not suggest that you remove all contingencies until you're getting loan docs and everything has gone, correct, Jessica? I'm really kind of scared on removing that last contingency lately.
I'm always scared. I'd rather not. I mean, who are we going to hurt? I mean, by removing that, I think that's an old. I don't know. I really hate when the selling agent is pushing us to remove that. Nobody wants to hurt another person, and if it's not they're doing something happens, underwriter found something else that they didn't know, it's always so scary because you at the end are going to hurt a person that's trying to buy a house, and they probably have saved so long to buy something. So I am so careful on removing those contingencies. I never ever try. I'm sorry if I have some realtors here that are selling agents. I just think it's mean, and I know it's a something you guys are taught to do and something you guys are supposed to do to represent the sellers, but I think if you've gone that far and you're seeing troubles, then trouble should be addressed. But
I completely agree with that. And that is about communication. As long as everybody's communicating throughout the whole process, there shouldn't be any push to give anything at this point, especially because, sometimes we can close a deal on time right now, and sometimes it may take an extra week, depending on the demand and everything that goes on.
a lot of
You got
lenders are taking there's because of the refinance booms right now and the rates are so good, they're taking a long time for they are putting priority on the purchases. So in other words, they're maybe underwriting one refi versus five. They'll do five purchases and they'll grab a refi to so refinances are taking longer, but we are closing on time. I'm closing on time. I closed one day late yesterday, and it wasn't my fault. It was because they were asking for something. It was the VOE, the verification of employment. That's what it was.
the verification of employment.
So it was too late to actually. We did get documents out on time, but it was at 4:00 that afternoon, and escrow didn't have time to package them up and get the notary and get the buyers to come in, so they came into the next morning. So
Now, signing loan documents has changed a little bit. We can do that virtually now if needed, correct?
no, now that I know of, I'm sorry, Jenny. I think I haven't heard that yet. No.
Okay.
Maybe
So that is going
so
regular.
notaries. How are the notary? I don't understand how notaries can stamp, but maybe I don't know.
Okay, we'll look into that.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard. I don't know. Maybe if the buyers print their own, and then the notaries.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
And then the notaries will get the paperwork and stamp it. Maybe there's a way, but as far as I know, my notaries are still meeting with people with, of course, social distancing and doing all that stuff.
And I think that's important because it's important to go over the documents. And if you're just sending someone documents, they can't actually
It would be so overwhelming for a seller. For a buyer to sign this many.
Yes,
documents.
It's quite large and it takes at least an hour.
Yes.
So then we do what's called funding, where the lender actually funds a loan and everything goes over to escrow and title. And then once everybody has everything, then title records it with the county. And then once it's confirmed, then we do a hoorah, congratulations.
Yes.
And depending on whether it's occupied, if it's not occupied, it's same day that you can move into the home. Otherwise, it's normally 3 days.
That's correct.
Okay. I want to talk about rent versus buy real quick. Okay. Now, our median rent in Corona runs between $2,500 and $2,600 a month. Okay. You can buy a home around, I have this based off of some different rates. I'm going to say $475. You can buy a home for $475 for the same as you did for rent. So if you have a job and good credit, why would you be paying your landlord $156,000 over 5 years when you can be getting equity of over $85,000 for yourself? And that makes no sense to me. So what are your thoughts on that?
Especially when you are renting a property and they are having you come in with first and second. So if you're 26, so you're already like, goodness, $5,000 easy, $550, $200. That could be your down payment. That we have down payment assistance programs. And you don't need great credit. You don't even need good credit. Even if you had so-so credit, I can help you boost that up with not charging you anything. Let's just boost up that credit, help you within a couple months, get you in a home. Why throw away all that money? I don't understand. We have my program right here, home program assistance. We give you a down payment and closing costs.
This is
It's
extremely
amazing.
popular.
This is Calhafa with including Card Plus with a zip, meaning we give you even closing costs. So I have properties for $350. Somebody buying a $350 coming in with $2,000 only. I've had a $400,000 home. People came in with $3,000 only, and amazing. I mean, this is amazing.
And we had one where she paid off all of her credit cards. So she was debt free besides her mortgage, and she got $300 back at close of escrow.
Yeah, and this happens, I just say, you know what, use this program. The money that you were saving for a down payment, pay off all your bills. So then now you just have the mortgage. And
Right.
it's really actually very, 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 very amazing. And this is how you come up with it. These programs are amazing out there, and they're for you. They're not there. This is you have to pay back these. This is not a grant. This is a payback. However, I do have a grant, and the grants are not paying back, but it only gives you enough for, you would have to have come in with a little bit more money than a Calhafa. So I found out, I've done my math on it, and Calhafa is the best, but you do have to pay them back when you refinance or sell a house. If that takes 30 years, then that took 30 years to give them back the money. As long as you don't refinance, you don't have to pay them back.
I see that Laura is hopping on.
Yes, I see that.
So wait for
program.
Laura to hop on real quick, and then she can ask some questions if you want. I want to go over our, and I have someone else coming on as well. I want to go over, we have our FHA first time buyer assistance programs, and welcome everybody that's joined. And we also have special programs for first responders. So this is not just for, let's say, for police officers, firefighters. It also includes EMTs. It includes teachers. It includes anybody that works in the hospital and healthcare industry at this point.
School.
And what
and
it is
in a school district too. I'm sorry to cut that out. Anybody, a superintendent,
yes.
a maintenance person, a front desk at a school. This is anybody that is employed with any school district.
Yes. And what it is, it's a program where you get a HUD home. Okay, there's specific HUD homes that are for the neighborhood next door program, and you get a home half off. And what that involves is you get a first loan for the first half. Let's just say it's $350, and so that $175 first loan. Then you get a silent second for the other $175. It has 0 interest, and after 3 years, the second is forgiven. Okay. Now I have Laura and one other person here. Does anybody have any questions right now since you guys joined?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Sorry about that, ladies. I ended up having to step away, and I just got back home. So maybe I'll just, when you ladies are done, if you're recording it, if you don't mind sending it to me, or I can call you later. I apologize. I missed most of it.
Yes.
Oh, well, what questions did you have at this time?
Well, you just started talking about, I think, down payment assistance and, some programs that you have that are specific for, I guess, first responders.
Yes.
And I'm looking at the flyer here. So, yeah, again, I kind of feel like I don't really know. I'm not really clear because I just walked into the meeting. So I apologize.
Well, we just started talking about this. So what you've missed is the steps to a transaction. We literally just stepped in talking about this. So
Okay.
this is are you a first responder?
No, I'm not. So this does not really apply to me, but this is just where I came into the meeting. So
Okay.
that's kind of all I know.
So are you asking for just down payment assistance, a regular job with a regular job? Is that what we want to talk about real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to see if there is something for someone that is not a first responder.
Yeah, there is. It's actually the same, pretty much the same thing. This is a Calhafa loan, which Jenny has up there, and they give you the down payment, the 3.5% down payment, and they also give you the closing costs. and it's a matter of 3 loans. So the first is for the down payment, the second in the SIP that we call, which is the third, it is a loan. Okay, so it is a loan. The money is given to you as a loan. So in other words, when you sell the house or refinance the house, you will have to pay back. But it's an excellent program, really low rates, and you probably walk into a house for about $3,000 at the end. You pay $3,000 and you're in the house. And there's a 660 minimum FICO score, which if you don't have, I have no problems helping you reach that. Okay, it's really easy to help with and it follows like FHA guidelines and conventional loan amounts. Okay, so we can't talk. This is not for jumbo loans. It's in the mid 400s around there. Where are you located? In Riverside County or in LA?
Actually, I'm in LA County.
Also, it's much higher than that in LA County. Yes,
Oh,
because you can't buy anything at 400,000 in LA County. That's for sure. Yeah. So there are different counties. Yeah, different counties have different loan amounts. You know, and LA County is one of the highest ones.
What is your name? I can see your phone number because I could have Jessica call you back on that number as well.
So the phone number that you see, the 562-587-7440, that's my number.
Okay, what is your name?
Laura.
Laura, okay.
Okay, Laura. Yeah, you can call me. You want to write down my number, Laura, and you can call me at your earliest convenience.
Yeah, let me do that. Hold on. Let me
Jenny, can you put the other Can you put the other screen? It has it on there. The next one.
Okay, Jessica,
You
right?
see it? Yeah, you see it right there?
Yeah, so you're 951-454-0222?
Yes. And this program is another program, okay? It says it's for first responder, but it's also for the difference between a first responder and a person like you with a regular job is that theirs is forgiven. This is a grant, okay? So you don't have to pay it back, but it's normally just enough for the down payment or you have the down payment and this covers your closing costs. So it's not as much money as the other, the CalHAPA loan, okay? But this is a grant. So, and it's not just for them. So for them, for the first responders, the minute they sign their loan docs, the grant is a forgivable grant. For somebody like you, you just have to stay in the home for 3 years and then it's forgiven. But if you, by any chance, have to sell it 2 years or in a year, you just pay a third back for every year you did not stay.
It's a fantastic program.
Yeah, it's up to 5%. Right now it's 5%. Right now, they just upped it to 5%.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Yeah, call me anytime. You know, text me, call me. Okay.
So let's go over this grant program, Jessica, that we have on the screen.
Yeah, it's what I was just telling Laura is it is a grant. And it says it's forgivable. It's now 5%, okay. But for the first responders, it's forgivable at the time you signed the loan documents, you know. And for different kinds of jobs, not first responders, you just have to stay in the home for 3 years and pay back a third each time. You know, if you choose to leave earlier, it could be used as a down payment assistant or closing costs as assessed in the income no limits. CalHAPA has an income limit. This one has no income limits. So this one's a little bit more, it fits more people. You know, it can help more people, but it's not as much money as CalHAPA can give you. So at that point, we discuss, you know, hey, do you want to pay it back? Do you want it to be a grant? Do you have enough money for a down payment? We're just going to give you the closing costs. So it just depends what fits, what your needs are. And then that's a conversation that you and I will have.
And I will, this is being recorded, Laura, so I will send it to your email since I have your email.
Okay, yeah, that would be perfect. I think I feel more comfortable if I can listen to the whole thing, and then I think from there I can ask, you know, questions.
Perfect.
Awesome.
That's okay with you.
Perfect. All right, ladies, anything else?
Let's go to the next one. I don't think we have too much left. What's affordable out there? So after we sit down and talk about your needs and your qualification done, we just need to go over the inventory and see what's out there. And like we talked about before, we just need to have that pre-qualification there. So when that home hits the market, you're able to get that home. Because there are multiple offers out there right now. believe it or not, with the COVID going on, and we have these really strict guidelines that we're going by, and so it's really, really working. We need to keep an eye on the market. So as a realtor and as buyers and sellers, keep an eye on the market to see what's coming up and see what the price ranges are, because sometimes, as talked about before, you may have to go to the next city over and drive an extra 5 or 10 minutes. Be ready to make an offer and to negotiate on the seller's terms,
Yes.
because the seller is in control in a transaction, because it's their home that they're selling. They've probably been there for a while, and they think of it as their baby, kind of. So, you know, a lot of sellers have a hard time leaving their homes.
I
So,
think I'm going to.
yes.
I'm going to. Yes.
And be positive and know that there's a home out there for everybody.
That's
I
correct.
truly believe that there is your perfect home out there. And it may not be the time and place that you think it is, but it is there. And it's my job and it's Jessica's job to make sure that you find that. And just be positive about it. I'm
And
completely
it's our
positive.
job, is it our job also to tell you, you know, I don't think this is a home for you. I don't think this is the best home. I don't think there's something wrong here. I
Yes.
see something I don't like. Because being in the business so long, we pretty much, I don't know.
Yeah, when
have
I
a gut
walk through the
feeling.
home, even though someone may think it's a perfect house, when they look at it on the MLS and they're like, let's go look at it, it's gonna be perfect, and you walk in, after, I've been in the business too long to not say, hey, look at this over there, that needs to be done, look, that over there needs to be done. What is it that you can do yourself and what you can't do by yourself? Because maybe we need to go look at some other properties that are in better condition.
Yes.
Because looks can be deceiving on MLS photos, because everybody's using professional photography now, and looks can be deceiving. A room that is 300 square feet can look like 700 square feet if you get the right light and the right angle. So, you know, these are the basics, and I want to talk about, you know, it is time for anyone to look for buying right now. If you have the job and you have the credit. If you don't have the credit, hook up with Jessica. She can help you. If you need 20 points, you could probably do that in 30 days.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing.
Mm.
Yeah, that's nothing.
So, you know,
Credit is,
here's my
I'm sorry,
information.
I'm sorry, Jenny, I just want to say one last thing and I have to go.
Yes.
Credit to me, it's not scary to fix it. What's scary is to get somebody to have the income to afford a home. That's scary because I'm asking you to switch jobs and make more money, is what I'm telling you. But credit, I'm just going to tell you what to do, whether it takes 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and you're going to get there. But I can't get you the income to qualify for a home. That's when I see that, I can't do anything really. So that's the hardest thing, is the income. But credit, I'm not going to run for it because it's easy for me.
You can
Just
get
be patient.
exceptions a lot of times on the credit. Like if there's something hitting your credit that is affecting the credit score that really doesn't need to be there, then there's
I'll help you.
exceptions.
Don't worry. I'm going to help you with that. But anyway, I want to say goodbye.
Jessica has a party for her grandson.
Yes, I have to go. But everybody, Laura, give me a call, text whenever you can. And anybody out there, just go ahead and get a hold of me at Jessica Degucci with Easy Fundings at 951-454-0222. I look forward to helping everybody. Take care, everybody. Bye, Jenny.
Thank you, Jessica.
Bye, Laura.
Have fun.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for your time as well.
Oh, thank you. All right, if anybody has anything, please give me a call. My name is Jenny Gonzalez with Keller Williams Corona. My license number is 01249788. Been in the business over 21 years and proud of it. My number is 951-316-0374. And if you want to email me, I'm at jengonzalezre@gmail.com. And if you want to visit my website, it's jengonzalez.kwrealty.com, and you can search homes on there. You can also download my new app. The new consumer app is absolutely phenomenal. So if you want to go ahead and let me know via text, and I'll share that app with you, or you can go on to your Apple Store or your Google Play Store and download the Keller Williams real estate app and put me as your realtor, and you'll be absolutely amazed how interactive it is. It actually will read your mind and it'll show you properties that you're looking for. It'll give you insights into neighborhoods and what's going on in the neighborhoods, whether it's a walking neighborhood, whether people like to bike and hike. It gives you restaurants nearby. It's really a great program. So please download my app. And I thank everybody for tuning in and everybody that hopped on. And if you have any questions, please give me a call. Again, I'm at 951-316-0374. And I hope everybody has a blessed day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Laura.